Burns in the northeast section of the country now with round number 4 of AMA Motocross in Southwick, Massachusetts. As we get ready for the 125s, the points leader, Ricky Carmichael, leading by 21 points. He has won all 3 previous events in the 125 class. Everybody else, David Bailey, running for second place.
There's one of them, Tallon VOHLAND, doing all the work he believes is going to get him on that top spot. He thinks he's got a little something for Ricky Carmichael before the year's up.
Nick Way, one of the young promising riders for Pro Circuit, getting on the podium one time this year with the 3-3 in the opening round. Primal Suzuki's Michael Brandis just coming off his very first podium, a 3rd at Mount Morris. But here's the man of the hour, all smiles, fun and games for Ricky Carmichael. Let's take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. Carmichael almost in a class between the 250s and 125s. As VOHLAND in second place in the points. Michael Brandis has had a strong start on the season. Casey Lytle from Yamaha of Troy. Broc Sellards, the FMF rider. And Nathan Ramsey riding for Mitch Payton's Pro Circuit team. As we take a look now at the rest of the starting grid, Casey Johnson, he's getting stronger each week, coming back from that Supercross injury that put him out of the Supercross season. 40 riders in all at the 125 gauge. You see Brandon Jessamine, a good young talent. Buddy Antonez, a 3-time Arena Cross champion. Let's look at the track map, David Bailey.
Well, Art, for the 3rd time in 4 weeks, it's cement start. Goes up a hill into a wide first corner. The rest of this beautiful layout hasn't changed except the finish line. Used to be here. Now it's been moved to the big spectator jump. Before we leave, we want to take a look at the big downhill. This is up the big hill out of the back, approaching the left-hander and down the long hill. It's going to get rougher as the day goes on. These guys will be hugging the sides for a smooth line.
Our Dave Burns is at the gate.
Well, it's the question of the week. Who can step up and beat Ricky Carmichael this week? Could it be Fonseca? Maybe Brandis? Maybe Sellards? Well, this could be Tallon VOHLAND's best opportunity yet. Southwick is a very sandy track, and he loves the sand. He did a lot of it in Europe. Oh, but wait, this just in. Ricky Carmichael grew up in Florida. Think he knows anything about the sand? We'll see who's the first to reach the beach here today at Southwick.
Ricky Carmichael just dominating this season so far. 3 wins in 3 races. Winning all but 1 moto. So far in the 125 season, they're off the cement and running. Ricky Carmichael with a good start. Lytle just to his left, also a good start. And VOHLAND and Danny Smith. Oh, Nick Way goes down. There you see Casey Johnson to the right. Way getting up off the ground on the left.
I've been there before. There's a long ways to go to catch up through all these riders, all the sand, your vision. It's almost like a mud race because the sand is wet. It sticks right to your lenses.
Tallon VOHLAND going by. Oh, there's another Pro Circuit rider down. That's Scott Sheik, number 26.
There's one good berm through that corner. Everyone's trying to find the best line to get a run up this hill on a 125. If you lose your momentum.
And Nathan Ramsey, 3/4 of the Pro Circuit team, has gone down here in the first lap. And of course, the guy out front is the 4th member, number 1, Ricky Carmichael. Well, he's got a good start like this. He's dominated so well.
Wow, beautiful the way he just hopped down that hill, hopped over all the bad bumps, I like to call them. All that deep stuff, he just floats the bike right over the top. Beautiful timing. He's not going to have any problem with vision. He's already getting rid of a tear-off just to clear up that vision even more.
Number 80 is Matt Walker out of McRae, Georgia. His best start on the motocross season, a privateer. So it's Carmichael, Walker, Broc Sellards, Buddy Antonez, and Tallon VOHLAND.
VOHLAND has got a good enough start, Art. There he is going on the outside this time that he should be able to be a challenge for Carmichael.
Whoa! VOHLAND went down.
Scratch that. Now it'll be tough, but he had him in sight for a while.
Going by the mechanics area, Ricky Carmichael already starting to check out, and Matt Walker and Broc Sellards. Sellards on the FMF Honda. Matt Walker's had some good speed, but he hasn't been able to endure throughout the entire moto.
There's so many different pieces of the puzzle that have to be there, and he's got some of the pieces in place. And it's experience, years on the circuit, getting used to the tracks, your competition, all that stuff comes into play, and Matt doesn't have enough of that yet.
Broc Sellards already with 1 podium on the season, a 3rd place at Hangtown after a 5 in the first moto and a 4 in the second. Let's take a look at our leaders now. Carmichael, Walker, Sellards, Antonez, and VOHLAND, the top 5, and we'll return with more 125 action after these words. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. Welcome back to Southwick, Massachusetts. The first moto of 125 action is underway. Ricky Carmichael has checked out already. This is the battle for second place. Matt Walker, the privateer, number 80, and Broc Sellards of FMF, the Honda support team.
That's fast through there, R. Just wide open, heading back into the woods. You hit one of those bumps and get sideways, you're in trouble.
There goes Buddy Antunez into the picture. Oh, they're rubbing plastic. Broc Sellards just muscled his way through Matt Walker.
There's one good line right there, and he had the inside. And you're right, he muscled his way in there. It's close for both of them. They both got a little squirrely going down into the corner, but it's worth it for the pass.
Let's take another look at that pass, David.
Watch Sellards going to ride right up to the inside, just outbreak him in there. He had to make sure he missed the inside. Kind of use his elbow. Look at Walker. That's about a 3-foot deep berm right there. It happens every year. Good place to catch somebody off guard.
So Broc now moves into second place. Still has time to catch Ricky Carmichael. If something goes wrong with Carmichael, he's looking so smooth out in front.
He does have a pretty good lead. The problem is by the time anybody really gets a chance to look at him, they don't get to see him at all. He's gone, so they can't really try to match his pace, figure out his lines, or any of his little secrets out there on the racetrack, and trust me, he's got a few.
This is really the best position that Broc Sellards has been in all year. Matt Walker trying to hold on right behind him. Buddy Antunez, number 54.
This is a long, this left-hand rough turn all the way down the hill. There's a couple of terraces they drop down. It's just full of braking bumps. By the time you get to this corner, you're already tired.
Danny Smith of FMF trying to put the heat on Buddy Antunez. Ed Longacre there. Antunez's mechanic waving him on.
Look how fast these guys are just pegged through there on these 125s. Then it gets a little bit more tricky, a little bit more one line. Got to be patient through here, try to stay out of that roost and get a good drive out of this berm for the climb up the hill.
Boy, Antunez is hitting the lines just beautifully here. Danny Smith's best performance this year at Hangtown. Got a 6 in the first moto, a 6 in the second, and for a 6th overall. Let's go down now to Dave Burns.
Danny's having a great afternoon. Why do you think he's riding so well?
You know, he worked really hard in the week. We came here last week and did a little pre-race, and he went home, sorted everything out, and came in with a positive attitude, and it looks like it's turning out good.
Did you guys work on the bike a lot in the sand?
We did a little suspension tuning, shifting it up. Not too much different from our other races, though. Left it the same.
Ricky Carmichael leading our opening 125 moto. Who else so far this year? And this is checking out the battle for fourth. Danny Smith out of the state of Idaho.
The new kid on the block. I can remember when Buddy Antunez was just a kid. Riding a mini bike. He's been around a long time.
Was a teammate of Jeremy McGrath's on the Peak Performance team in Supercross. Back when Jeremy won the Western Division 125's Supercross title. Buddy Antunez was second. Nice move by Danny Smith to the inside. And he moves up to fourth spot. Buddy Antunez trying to hold on.
Listen to the Danny Smith. Didn't even let off for the corner. And he was wide open all the way across the top. Just like he was through there to set up that pass. Just muscled his way down the inside through all the bumps. In order to make a pass here, because it's so rough, you can do it just about anywhere, but it takes so much extra strength and actually a little bit of risk, too.
Looking at the smooth styling with speed of Ricky Carmichael, our leader.
He makes it look easy. That's just line choice. You see he misses all the lines up that straightaway. Floats over all the bad holes.
Looks like he's taking time to look at the crowd and say hello. Right now, our Dave Burns is with Chad Watts, his mechanic, in the mechanics area.
Chad, obviously the whole shot was important there, but Ricky looks like he's on a line today.
Yeah, he's been riding in the sand quite a bit the last couple of weeks, him and Ezra Lusk. And there's a lot of sand around where he lives. And this year he looks really comfortable here, and he got a good start, which is fortunate. And right now everything's going our way.
It certainly is for number 1, Ricky Carmichael. Way out in front here in our first moto. And here's the battle on. Casey Lytle doesn't have time to read that board from his mechanic. In the battle with Buddy Anthonez, Casey Lytle makes the move and the pass.
And it closes the door too, just to make sure Buddy couldn't come back underneath him. I don't think either one of those guys saw the pit board that time. They had other business.
Lytle a 7th in the opener, a 12th in Hangtown, and an 8th at Mount Morris. Currently in 5th spot in front of Buddy Anthonez. Anthonez with the great start, but he's been the major target so far. Ricky Carmichael is still our leader here in the opening moto. He's won 5 of the last 6 motos. We'll be right back. We're back in Southwick, Massachusetts. Our first moto of 125 action. And who else is leading but Ricky Carmichael? He's making a boring points race at this, David.
But it's fun to watch him ride around the track and see what lines he chooses. I like the way he does this section. He wheelies over all those braking bumps, jumps that whole corner. I mean, everyone else is hitting all those, and he's just going through there going, this is fun. I can't wait till I get back around here again. That's the way you go fast. You try to make every part of the racetrack your favorite section. If you can do that, it's going to be pretty tough to beat.
Carmichael only 6 wins away from tying Mark Barnett's all-time 125 career win record of 25 victories. And of course, this is his last year on a 125 bike, as he'll be totally a 250 rider next year for Team Kawasaki. Broc Sellards, rather uneventful ride right now for him in 2nd place after a tough pass on Matt Walker to gain 2nd. Broc's been able to pull away a little bit from that 3rd place rider.
You can say through that same section, he had almost the same timing as Carmichael. Not quite as flawless, but still a pretty fast pace. It's a good ride for him. You see, he's still riding very aggressive. Even though he doesn't have Carmichael in his sights, he's still pushing forward pretty strong.
In 3rd is Matt Walker, 4th is Danny Smith, and here is Lytle, along with Buddy Anthonez and Michael Brandis getting into the picture now in a battle for 5th.
Lytle's got to stay focused here. He's got these guys breathing down his neck. He was able to catch Buddy, but Buddy hasn't let him off the hook, and Brandis is coming as well, so he's got to stay strong through the rest of the moto. He might even be able to pick up a spot. This is where guys get tired. You pick the roughest tracks, last 3 or 4 laps, and really take advantage.
David, really interesting seeing the contrasting styles of Ricky Carmichael and, say, like Casey Lytle, the way they're approaching the track.
Some guys just tend to float over the bumps a little bit better. It somehow registers in their brain that the best way to go through, where other guys just can't really figure it out the same. It takes more energy when you hit all the holes. Sometimes what happens here, Art, is the track starts to get rough down the middle, then everybody moves to the edges, like Brandis is.
Brandis taking to the inside, and Buddy Anthonez clicks another one back.
They move to the sides, you think, okay, well, that's a smoother line. Then that gets so rough that the middle's the smoothest again. So you always got to be looking for the best line.
Buddy Anthonez looking strong on the track, but all of a sudden, 3-4 riders have passed him.
This is that part of the race where I was talking about it. Towards the end, your concentration fades just a little bit, your energy fades a little bit, and that's what can happen. Pulling a tear off on that uphill. Still not easy to go up that hill one-handed. The sand's so deep, you can see the bike starting to swerve a little bit.
Buddy Anthonez, his sponsor during the Arena Cross season, was Primal Suzuki. He won 3 straight championships for them. Michael Brandis, that's his sponsor right during this motocross season. Brandis got his start in Northern California with a little bit of help from his brother.
Before I got into motocross, I used to race BMX. I rode that for a couple years, and then my brother and some of his friends had some motorcycles, and I started riding.
In those early years, growing up in Northern California, Brandis looked up to one rider he's competing against this year.
When I first started racing 80s, because I live up in Northern California, guys like Steve Lamson and Tyson and Tallon VOHLAND and Rick Ryan and Dean Matson and all those guys, those are the guys I looked up to back in the day when I first started racing. I'm like, wow, these guys are just awesome.
The Primal Suzuki rider doesn't hesitate when asked which he likes better, motocross or supercross.
So I lived up north, and I pretty much rode by myself out in the hills, and so I was always just more accustomed to riding out in the hills and outdoor type motocross. So that's what, it's just one, personal favorite. Some people like supercross a lot more. I just prefer outdoor races.
Not everyone's perfect, And Michael let us in on his big weakness.
I got a little problem for sweets. You know, I like my candy and my cookies, and I try and control it every once in a while, but sometimes it gets a little haywire, and I dig into a big box of cookies and go for it.
A 2-3 podium appearance in the last round moved him from 6th to 3rd in the points.
The beginning of the year I was shooting, you know, if I can get top 5 in the series, that'd be really good. That's what I was expecting. Right now I'm doing a little better than expected. It's the beginning of the season, so we'll see how it goes the rest of the season, but I'd really be happy. I'm expecting to hopefully get up there and win a moto this year. I think I'm capable of doing it, and as long as I can, you know, if I'm running up front and I'm doing the best I can and I know that I'm putting in good races, regardless whether I end up winning a race this year, I'll be happy if I end up, you know, knowing that I rode the best I could this year.
Michael here in the opening moto at Southwick, Massachusetts, in 6th place, trying to chase down number 33, Casey Lytle.
Just amazing me how fast they go around that corner. When I raced here, that was a little bit more of a jig jog through there, and it got rough. Now they're just flat out all the way through. Brandis, this is where I was talking about Lytle. He had to stay sharp, stay focused through the end of this moto. This is why, because Brandis is making time here and there, and now he's got a battle on his hands.
Brandis to the inside, and Michael Brandis moves up another notch.
This is a question of desire and fitness, I think, at this point in the race, and Brandis just took the best line, Art, coming around down the hill. I think Lytle, if he really wanted that spot, would have had to at least take the best line, make it that much harder for Brandis to pass.
Our leader is still Ricky Carmichael here in the opening 125 moto. It's Carmichael, Sellards, Walker, Smith, and Brandis the top 5. But Lytle and Antonez holding tight. When we return, we'll be racing for the checkered flag. Art Eckman, David Bailey, and Dave Burns with you from Southwick, Massachusetts. Ricky Carmichael is our leader here in the 125 first moto, but here is a great battle. Back and forth we go. Matt Walker, number 80. Danny Smith right there on the Honda. Smith squaring the corner, tries to the inside, but Walker outpowers him.
A good idea by Danny Smith to try to square him off. He stayed out of the line, but not the best place to pass. It's barely one line there.
Let's go down to the pits now, and Dave Burns is with Matt Walker's mechanic.
Jason, it was a great start for Matt. How do you keep him motivated now, and how far do you want him to go?
I'd like to see top 3. We're really kind of used to this because at home we got a track just like this, and this is kind of like home track to him. So really just mainly relax and think positive and hopefully be there at the end.
Facing a good old boy from Georgia. Matt Walker still in front of Danny Smith. Danny Smith's giving it all he's got, though, isn't he, David?
Well, he's been putting in a pretty solid ride, and for Matt Walker, I mean, you could say, well, yeah, he got a good start, and that's why he's up there, but, you know, Buddy Antonez was up there as well at the beginning. It's not easy to stay there. So Matt's had a great ride. Carmichael, on the other hand, I don't know if you call this great or just kind of nonchalant.
Right now, it's a ride in the park for him as he checked out so early and was so far in front. As we take a look at the top 20 summary up in the left portion of your screen, number 557, Scott Carter, is from nearby Manchester, Connecticut. It seems like, David, every year we have a Northeasterner do well and open some eyes here at this track.
There have been some fast guys, and one guy I can think of that I'll never forget watching him dice for the win was JoJo Keller in the 250 class. My bike broke down back in like '79. He's dicing with Howard and Hannah. That was the most determination I've ever seen on anybody, because he was clearly the underdog, and he was swapping just like Matt did through there the entire race, held those guys off. It's amazing.
Smith really pushing Walker to his limit.
Well, you can tell Walker wants it. Usually you do some swapping like that, you tend to back off just a touch.
Well, look at the speeds. Now, Smith to the inside as we go back to Ricky Carmichael.
Cruising down the downhill. He just looks bored. You know? I mean, this guy's going to have to start from 10th or worse from now on to make this interesting for us, it looks like.
It will be his 6th win in 7 motos.
Here's a little sample as to why. Just hopping through the racetrack, even in the final lap, just floating over everything, as fluid as anybody else out there on the racetrack. Wish they could.
While we check out our leader as he heads toward the checkers, Walker has repassed Smith for 3rd. Ricky Carmichael gets the checkered flag.
They made that look pretty easy, Art, but you know, it really came down to getting the whole shot and establishing a good rhythm right off the bat. It helped that Vohland fell down, but the second moto could be an entirely different story.
Carmichael, Broc Sellards, his best finish of the year. Matt Walker in the top 3. Tallon VOHLAND in 5th place, losing more valuable points to Ricky Carmichael. Let's go down to Dave, who's with our champion.
Well, Ricky Carmichael continues the domination. First of all, congratulations, Rick, on a great ride.
Well, thanks. You know, it felt good. My Kawasaki Bridgestone tires hooked up off the gate, man. That tire I had on the back was just phenomenal, and got me the whole shot, and it feels good.
Now, this is a narrow place, tough to pass. Didn't have to worry about the guys you were racing with, but a lot of lappers today. Any close moments out there?
Not really. You know, it's track's really short, so you do get into a lot of lappers, and you know, I felt good, and just got to go out there the second moto and do the same. Congratulate Matt Walker for putting in a good ride. We practiced together all week with Ezra, and it looks like our work's paying off.
All right, Southwick's first moto to Ricky Carmichael.
Number 1, Ricky Carmichael, and it was the best ride of the year for number 80, Matt Walker. He had a near race-long battle with Danny Smith, but came out on top to hit the podium for the first time. Let's go back to Dave.
Well, after the start of the season, I suppose there might be a couple people out there saying, Matt, who? Great ride for you. Man, where'd you come from?
Man, I came from Georgia for first thing. We've been practicing all week, man, me and Yogi and Ricky, and I knew I could do it, and this Yamaha, it put me out there. We was joking on the starting line, me and Ricky, about training this week and about who was going to get the whole shot, and I'll be dang if we both didn't get the whole shot, and I like to thank this Boys and Motor and Al Lane Yamaha. They put me on top, and, man, I couldn't have been here without them.
Congratulations, Matt.
Hey, thanks a lot, and I thank everybody else that helped me along the way. This is a dream come true, top 3. Hope everybody sees me at home. How y'all doing, Mom and Dad? Appreciate everything. See you.
Genuine happiness showing through there. Broc Sellards, his best finish of the season, 2nd in the moto behind Ricky Carmichael.
Broc Sellards second today in the first moto. Broc, Ricky was pretty far out in front there, but you were trying to drag him down at the end, I know.
Yeah, well, I saw his pace in practice, and I pretty much said, I think he's going to walk away with it. He had some lines, and he was carrying momentum that no one else was carrying. So luckily, I got out behind him, and Matt rode a really good race, and me and him battled, and Ricky took off at the beginning, and then it's hard to pump up your pace after the middle of the moto.
Did you learn anything from him, watching him at all, or did you pick up something for your own line for the second moto?
Oh, I definitely picked up some of my own lines. I mean, I tried different lines the first 6 laps behind Matt, and then picked up some good ones. I picked up some from him in practice, so I put them all together, and it's working really good. My Honda FMF bike is just unreal out there. It's so fast. It's been getting me out of the whole shot every single time this week, and the suspension and everything is just killer on it.
Welcome back to Southwick, Massachusetts, as the 125 riders coming back to the line for their second moto. You see Broc Sellards. He had a good, clean second-place finish in the opening moto behind Ricky Carmichael as Carmichael tries to keep his win streak alive. Phenomenal performances this year by Ricky Carmichael. Broc Sellards, though, coming off his best moto finish of the season.
All that rain during the 250 moto was great for the racetrack, but horrible down here at the starting line. The challenge has been for everyone to get their starting spot dried out. They've been using towels. Now Broc's trying to lay down a little rubber, hopefully without wearing out the tire.
The young Matt Walker from southern Georgia, his best moto finish earlier in moto number 1 with a 3rd place. As we're getting set, the 30-second board is up. They'll start revving it up, and we're off. Ricky Carmichael on the inside, Nick Way, number 23. It is Ernesto Fonseca, though, number 100 of Yamaha of Troy, getting the whole shot. A great break for Ernesto. He hasn't been out front much this year.
Well, he must have got an extraordinary jump, because from the looks of Carmichael, he came off perfect. Looked like he had the edge. Still wasn't good enough for the whole shot.
Tom Welch from Charlotte Hall, Maryland, number 92, is also in the mix there on the Suzuki, right in front of Ricky Carmichael. So Fonseca, and now Carmichael moves into 2nd place.
Look how dangerous that guy is. Carmichael, that is, just pulling a tearaway on the uphill with the confidence as if to say, well, I'm going to get this guy, so I won't need another tear off. Even if he doesn't get the whole shot, he's so quick to get to the lead.
Carmichael now doesn't even stop to go bar to bar, just keeps right on going.
Pulls another tearaway. Now he's got clear sailing once again.
Tallon VOHLAND in 3rd, number 711, FMF Honda. So Ricky coming across the finish line jump. has wasted no time in getting out in front.
Track's in beautiful condition. Take another look at the way Carmichael made his pass. Watch this bump right here Fonseca's going to hit. He's going to hit that. It's going to kick him up in the air. He's going to be heading a little bit over the berm. Can't quite tuck it in there. Carmichael does. Jumps right to the inside. It's a beautiful pass.
Moore had control on his mind more than trying to save a lead, that's for sure.
I think Fonseca was just trying to match Carmichael's pace, and in doing so, he couldn't make the turn.
Fonseca, Vohland, and then the Pro Circuit rider, Scott Sheik. A good bang, bang, bang for second, third, and fourth. No national race for the 125s last week. Ricky Carmichael took the weekend off. On the other hand, Tallon VOHLAND, who's been on the podium 3 straight times in 3 races, decided I needed more work, and he came up here early to work on this track. He likes it.
I'm very satisfied with the organization here, not prepping the track from last week. I raced here last week at a local race. They didn't touch it since then, so it's really, really rough. And I think that's good because it kind of separates the men from the boys, you know. And that's, for me, much better because I have many years of experience. I know how to pick lines. I know how to ride on these rough tracks. So I'm very satisfied with the track. I think everything's in my direction, and then just get a good start, and then I can hopefully win this thing.
The always positive sounding Tallon VOHLAND, as he not only talks about the track but also the important points race. He certainly has the experience to back up his comments as we take a look at the Suzuki top 5. Carmichael, Fonseca, VOHLAND, Sheik, and Michael Brandis. But it is Scott Sheik starting to put some real pressure on VOHLAND. Sheik to the inside as VOHLAND slips a little bit there, and Scott Sheik has moved up a notch.
Surprised me that VOHLAND went as wide as he did. In fact, our camera guy couldn't even get him into view. He went so wide, and it just opened the door for Sheik. He needs to try to get his line choices sorted out a little bit better. I talked about how much different the track would be this moto because of the rain. I think he's experiencing that a little bit. He needs to get that dialed in if he has any shot at trying to get around all these guys, take over second, and even at that point, he's still got a long ways to go to catch Carmichael.
The battle for second place, Fonseca currently holding off Scott Sheik and Tallon VOHLAND. Michael Brandis further back in the shot. And way out in front, checking out, is Ricky Carmichael.
A little bit tough to see your lines as you work into the wood sections, the shadows on the racetrack. Trying to determine which bump you want to try to miss. Some of you want to hit on purpose and clear some other bumps. See all the shadows through there, it's really difficult.
Fonseca seems to be holding his own, David.
Well, so far, I think Sheik's going to put a little bit different pressure on him, though. He's had VOHLAND back there. I don't think VOHLAND's up to speed just yet.
Sheik off the track. Looked like he just went out of control, David.
He's missing his visor, so.
I wonder if he could he have hit his head on the tree? Let's take another angle. Scott Sheik, number 26, and yes, it did happen. You're absolutely correct, David. He hit his head on that tree and then landed hard into the berm. The medical staff personnel are hurriedly trying to get to Scott Sheik as we see Tallon VOHLAND, who's moved into third place behind Ernesto Fonseca. Ricky Carmichael is still our leader here at Southwick, Massachusetts in the second 125 moto. Welcome back to the second 125 moto here at Southwick, Massachusetts. Art Ekman, David Bailey, David Byrne bringing you the action. Ricky Carmichael is looking for his 4th consecutive victory. He is out in front. As we go back into the field, here's Casey Johnson, number 16. Johnson in 6th place. And Broc Sellards, number 27, who took a 2nd place in the opening moto, is right behind him. Look at Scott Carter in the top 5, number 557 on his plate. Hardly room on the plate for the number.
No, he's leading this pack as well. Sellards gets a little over the berm there, loses the position. Look at the difference. Fonseca all nice and clean. VOHLAND just soaking up all that roost.
This has been Ernesto's finest motocross ride as far as a single moto is concerned so far, as VOHLAND tries to put the challenge to him, and he's held him off well. Don't let that squirrely action bother you. That's the way Tallon VOHLAND rides.
Rides with a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. You got to be in fantastic shape to ride that way too. It takes a lot more strength to go out there and hit more holes and ride with that much more nerve.
Fonseca now has got a tiger by the tail. VOHLAND is really looking for a spot to pass him.
If he doesn't find one, he's just going to make one. Look at him charge.
Whoa! Stay out of the trees, Tallon. And VOHLAND makes the pass into second place.
That was just hard work. Paid off, though. Now he can pull a tearaway and see where he's going for a change.
Of course, Tallon has got to assume that Ricky Carmichael is out there somewhere. We haven't seen him in a long time. He's so far away in first place.
He's getting it on the board. And right now, what he'll look at, or what I would look at, is to see what the differential is. We're going to take another look at his pass first. Tallon all the way to the outside. Takes the line away. Look at the measure that Fonseca goes to get all the way back over against the edge of the racetrack to try to hit a smooth line. Maybe a little bit too concerned with trying to miss bumps. That's what allowed VOHLAND to get around.
Fonseca in his rookie professional season came in with a big splash, winning a Supercross 125 regional crown, but he's learned his lessons here in motocross.
It's been a little tougher for him, but you know, he's just been riding smart. He just had some bad breaks as well. Now that they're approaching the mechanics area, though, for VOHLAND, he's clear in second. And look at that board and see what the gap is to Carmichael, and then just bust it for a couple laps. See if he can make up some time. If you can, keep going. If not, maybe just try to keep it up on two wheels, ride smart, take the points.
Here's the battle for fourth. It's Brandis out in front. And number 557 is Scott Carter from nearby Connecticut. The Northeasterner has done a tremendous job here in his first main event. He got a 10th in the opening moto and is currently running in 5th position. Scott Carter is making his mark. A lot of riders get good starts and then everybody passes them, but Scott is holding his own. Let's go down to Dave Burns in the mechanics area. Dave.
Okay, I'm with Eric Olson. He is Scott Carter's mechanic, and obviously a little local knowledge here, but he's having a great run.
Yeah, Scott's a real hard trainer, so I'm hoping he can last, he should be able to last 30 minutes. He knows the track better than anybody, and he's had some good rides at the Nationals here before, so he's hanging in there. Hopefully we can get Brandis. He's catching on him, so I'm looking forward to a good ride.
Carter making a good impression in the first moto, taking a 10th place finish, and right now he's gunning after Brandis for 5th. Should he get that, that would move him up in the overall standings. And for you newcomers, the 125s and 250s each run 2 motos at every event. The riders score points for their finishes, 25 points for first, 22 for second, 20 for third, all the way down to 1 point for 20th. The rider with the most points from the 2 motos wins the overall title. If 2 riders are tied for first in points, the rider with the better second moto wins the trophy. And the pass has been made into 5th spot for Carter, and he puts his fist in the air a little bit there. A little cautious, but he got it up there.
He reached up to clear his vision. It may have looked as though he was celebrating that pass, but it's pretty impressive, though. I mean, you got a guy out there with a zip code for a number, holding off Casey Johnson, Brandis, Ramsey. I mean, this is an impressive ride for him. I know he knows the track, but it's not like these guys haven't been here before.
And Broc Sellards, we saw what a fine moto he had just earlier. There's Casey Johnson, number 16, trying to catch Carter now.
This looks like a big group of guys right now just trying to watch and see what Carter does out there.
He probably knows the track better. They're right in their interview.
Look at Ramsey just pegged through there. That's scary. You hit one little bump just before you leave the ground right there, and that's big trouble.
3 of the 4 Pro Circuit riders having trouble in the very first lap in the first moto. Now trying to regain some kind of pride and get back up in the running here.
This is where the track does start getting really rough, and because it rained, it's going to make it worse. We already heard Tallon VOHLAND talk about how it didn't prep the track, so it's even rougher to begin with. That's where they think Carter might be stronger.
Ricky Carmichael has checked out. He's our leader. We'll be right back in a moment. Welcome back to Southwick, Massachusetts. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Dave Burns bringing you the action as Ricky Carmichael is our leader in the second moto of the 125s. And don't forget, we've got the second 250 moto coming up next.
Johnson right there holding down 5th, still chasing Scott Carter. There he is up there in the orange. Look at Sellards. a couple of positions behind Johnson. This gives you an idea of the depth of talent in the 125. Sellards in 7th right now. 2nd in the first moto, a strong ride here in a battle just to try to get in the top 5.
They're riding well is probably the difference of a good start.
Absolutely. With this much talent, start makes a huge difference. Sellards gets by Johnson. It looks like Casey is just sort of, for whatever reason, is just slowed completely off the pace.
Well, he might not be fully recovered from that injury. And there's Scott Sheik. He's still down, being attended to. So the battle rages on.
Well, it's obvious that right now something's happened to Casey Johnson. He's not at 100%.
Time for our Suzuki flashback. We go back to 1992, 125 action here at Southwick. Jeremy McGrath, riding for Mitch Payton's Peak Racing team, was impressive in the opener. He battled with former 125 champion Guy Cooper early in the moto. Number 17, McGrath, gaining his first national moto victory. Larry Ward, seen right here of Team Suzuki, would win the overall on this day. After a 4th in the opening moto, he took the checkers in the 2nd. Ward, a 4-1 for the championship. Back to 1999 now, as Carter still holding off this freight train of riders, including Broc Sellards. Let's go down to the mechanics area.
All right, Dean, a little tough for Broc out there right now. Can he do anything to come back?
He got a bad start, and he's been one of those guys that get a bad start. It takes him a while to get around people, and his goggles are probably messed up. You know, he's having a hard time, but I think if he gets by them, then he'll move forward pretty quick.
Broc Sellards trying for his best finish this year. He's at a 6th overall, a 3rd, and a 9th in the first 3 races. Been very consistent, though.
The opportunity is right there in front of him. If he can get around Ramsey and Carter, they're within his grasp.
And that might even put him on the podium.
Well, this track has really gotten rough. And just the difference of a couple of motos, the track just took a beating. Now these guys are taking a beating. Look at the way they just collapse into these holes.
In case you're just tuning in, we had quite a rainstorm go through for the first motos of the 250s. And right now it's drying out rapidly. Medical personnel taking care of Scott Sheik, and don't be too alarmed. A lot of that probably is precautionary, David.
I think overly precautionary. Just he bumped his head pretty good on that tree as he went around the corner, which was just a freak thing. It took his visor off, and my guess is a mild concussion, and he's just not too quick to get moving, and we want to make sure they don't make a mistake in getting him out of there.
Here's our leader, Ricky Carmichael. Boy, is he just taken off with this 2nd moto. Ricky looking for his 4th consecutive victory to start the season.
The kid's just fast, Art. I mean, everything that he does, even when there's a Suzuki stopwatch, we're going to find out just how fast. But even when he's just cruising, his momentum is still there. He's still able to carry a lot more speed through some of the corners than everybody else, simply because he understands when to be on the power, when to cruise a little bit, when to hop over a hole.
We're searching for the 2nd place rider to emphasize how far in front Ricky Carmichael is.
That's how good he is. That's still not 2nd.
Tallon VOHLAND is the 2nd place rider. This looks like him coming around the corner now. Let's check it out. He's got the red colors. Yeah, that's Tallon. Boy, what a lead for Ricky Carmichael.
Almost 40 seconds. Imagine what that does to Tallon. He's trying as hard as he can, and he's losing by that much of a gap. And I credit him for being positive. Each week, regardless of how he has lost to Carmichael, he's turned that into a positive in a way that he's going to be able to eventually defeat him. But, geez, 40 seconds before the race is over with is pretty demoralizing.
He's hit the podium every time and has had good finishes. Hoping to stay close should something happen to Ricky Carmichael. There's Carter, Ramsey, and then Broc Sellards. Sellards number 27.
They're all moving up on Fonseca, who to me looks a little bit tired, Art. I mean, they caught him in a hurry, and he's just kind of standing around trying to find all the smooth lines.
Sellards in 6th, as you see there.
This track is just beautiful right now. Rough, plenty of lines, plenty of places to pass. The rain just packed this track down perfect. Makes me want to get out there and ride, Art.
Well, if you fans out there in TV land haven't seen a motocross in person, you've missed a lot of exciting action. Check out the motocross at a track near you on their upcoming schedule. We'll be right back. We're back at Southwick, Massachusetts. The second 125 moto of the afternoon winding down. Ricky Carmichael is our leader, but most of the action has been right here with these riders for 5th, 6th, and 7th and 8th places.
What's happened is Ramsey and Sellers are putting the pressure on Scott Carter. Now this whole pack has caught Fonseca, who I think is fading a little bit right now.
Carter, the youngster out of the Northeast who knows this track like the back of his hand, trying to hold on as Ramsey gets by him underneath there. He was as high as 4th in this moto after a 10th place finish in the opening moto.
Finally, that pressure is just a little bit too much. Carter's starting to make little mistakes here and there. Shouldn't have gone that far wide in that corner with Ramsey that close to him. He knows that now, but it's too late.
Nathan Ramsey, the 125 Supercross West champion. Number 25 of the Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Boy, it's getting rough right there. Carter bouncing up. Looks back, shakes his head. Who's next, he's saying to himself. Broc Sellards says, excuse me, I'm coming through.
Well, that's what happens. You lose your concentration a little bit. There's his mechanic. Oh, no, come on, get up there. He ran with those guys the whole race, was unintimidated. This is the best I can figure. Watch Carter's head. He's looking over at his mechanic's pit board, not looking where he's going. Boom, he hits a hole right there, gets a little bit out of control, and then Sellards takes advantage on the inside. I don't know, to tell you the truth, thought that it mattered to him that much that he got past right there because he was just getting tired of all that pressure.
He's still in line for an excellent finish.
Yeah, he's still going to bump it up quite a bit from that 10th place in the first moto. He'll be happy with that, but I think he'd been a little happier if he was able to fight these guys off all the way to the end.
Sellards, after that second in the first moto, is gunning for Ramsey right now. Whoa, a little scraping, a little bumping there. And Broc Sellards, with a lot of rebound in that back tire, passes Ramsey.
You know, the race just cruises along lap after lap. Nothing much changes, and all of a sudden in 2 or 3 corners, everything happens at once. And Sellards had that confidence after the first moto. Seems to be having things going his way today. Took advantage right there. He still got Fonseca.
Fonseca, number 100. Yamaha of Troy right in front of him. Ramsey in back of him. Looked like Ramsey was having a little slick problem back.
That's the hardest corner on this entire racetrack, that left-hander. It's hard packed, soft, chewed up, soft rim on the outside, a rut on the inside. It's difficult.
Look at this. Sellards making mincemeat of Fonseca in that one. So he currently now has moved into 3rd behind Vohland and Ricky Carmichael.
He has got this place dialed in. Sellards might have been a little bit more of a battle for Carmichael had he gotten better starts.
Our Suzuki rundown, Carmichael, Vohland, Sellards, the top 3, and Ricky just sailing along, looking back, saying, hey, who's that behind me?
Oh, he's looking at Matt Walker.
Matt Walker.
I think he's trying to let Matt get another lap in. Matt's going, no, just finish. I'm done. That's funny.
The two buddies, as you heard earlier, Walker working out with Carmichael, and Ricky Carmichael takes the checkered flag, his 4th consecutive victory, a 1-1 sweep for the 3rd time on the season. Carmichael, Vohland, Sellards are top 3 with Nick Way moving up to 4th, Fonseca in 5th. Dave is with our winner, Ricky Carmichael.
Hey, you know, we're used to RC being in a zone, but I think now we're going to have to start defining zones. Where were you today?
I don't know. I'll tell you what, I did some hard work before this race, hoping it would be a lot hotter. But I didn't get my wish. But, you know, I had fun. Me and Yogi and Matt Walker, I tell you what, we did some military motos this week, and it paid off. My Kawasaki was running great, and the Bridgestone tires got me off the gate pretty good, and got out there and did my own thing.
Yeah, tell us about the start, Ricky. How tough was it to get out of the water?
It was pretty tough, you know. I spun a little bit, but can't complain. I won the moto, so I'm happy.
All right, another 1-1 for Ricky Carmichael, overall winner today.
Let's take a look at the overall list. The sweep for Ricky Carmichael, Sellards, Vohland, Nick Way with 11 and 4, and look at that, Danny Smith with a 4 and 12 for 5th overall. Let's go back to Dave.
Tallon second in the second moto, third overall. Not bad considering the first moto. Compare your second run.
Yeah, you know, second was okay. Ricky just had the edge on me today. What can I say? He rode really good that moto. I failed 3 times in the first race, and it was my mistake, you know. You got to be mature enough not to make those mistakes. So keep working on it, keep focusing. Championship's still young, you know. There's a lot of races to go. I just didn't have the energy for that second moto. I had to pick up my bike so many times. You burn so many adrenaline rushes that I just didn't have the reserve fuel. So I just rode my race, rode my lines. He was a little bit better than me today. Have to be mature to say that, but maybe next time I'll be better than him.
Ricky Carmichael headed for his 3rd consecutive 125 National Crown, a 33-point lead on Vohland. Sellards 35 in back of Vohland in the